Welcome to myprojectwizard.com. This is our project title, Clustering Data Streams Based on Shared Density Between Microclusters. And this is our project abstract. This paper describes DBStream, the first microcluster based online clustering component that explicitly captured the density between microclusters via a shared density graph. The density information in this graph is then exploits for reclustering based on actual density between adjacent microclusters. We discuss the space and time complexity of maintaining the shared density graph. We have to calculate the weight density of each cluster and produce the graph of each cluster. Check even weight and recluster the cluster using microclusters. Because all the data servers having the same configuration, all the input data equal between them. Using the shared density based microclusters helps the problem of uneven data clusters. This is a data flow diagram of our project. First we have to load the data set into the database, and after loading the database, we have to load any data set, any how many number of the rows, columns we have to insert into the data into the table, and we have to pre-process it. And then in the pre-process module, we have to remove the unnecessary data in the database. After that, we have to get update the clusters, which have to find the clusters and update the cluster values into the cluster database. After that, we have to get the cluster data set for finding the density of the cluster. After that, we have to cluster if we get the microcluster, we have to calculate the density of the cluster based on the graph and the values. If it is not even between the clusters, we have to find the active clusters and the inactive clusters. If it is inactive clusters is found, we have to recluster the shared density graph. We have to recluster based on the shared density graph. After that, we have to get the event graph in the database. Then close the program. Now we have to see the demo of our project. Click home.java and right click on it. Select run file option. If we select the run file option, we have to see the home page screen of our project, and click into go into the place. First we have to load the dataset into the database. First we have the multiple dataset. We can select any dataset from the datasets. Click any dataset and open it. And we have total columns 8 and total rows are 1309 and load into the database. The database is loaded into the data. Then this the data we have to load into the database. Then we have to pre-process the data. View the pre-processed data. If the pre-process completed, we have to remove the unnecessary values from the database. Then click next button to update the clusters. We have to click the update button, so we have to cluster the pre-processed data into the multiple clusters, microclusters. Click here to form a multiple cluster. The cluster updated successfully. Then we have to see the clusters. There are 6 clusters. We have to form the 6 clusters. See that we can see that the multiple clusters, and then we can see the the density of the multiple clusters. Yes, these are the multiple clusters. We have to see that. Okay, then click next button. View the density of each clusters. We can see that it is not even into the clusters. Then we have to click next button. We have to find the weak active clusters and the weak clusters. First we have to find the active cluster. The active cluster is the cluster 1. If we find it, then weak clusters are there are the active inactive clusters. Then we have to go next button to reclustering into the shared density based. Click the button to recluster, and we recluster the data. The reclustered successfully completed, and then we can see the data. It's all even data. You can see it. Then click next button, view the density. Again the density, you have the even data. Now we have to see the graph, the same graph. It is we have to get the same density for the every clusters. Then close the program. Thanks to listen this video.